that and they're about that big. So this is the breeding set now. They're about that size now. I need to start separating them.
Yeah.
I have 90, well, I actually brought in 500. Out of the 500 that I brought in, only 91 survived. So
this is 91.
Yeah.
So what caused that high mortality rate though?
Transportation.
Oh, yeah.
Literally.
So they died before they got here?
No, they were alive when they got here. But it was a shock because they're very small. And the day they were supposed to come over, the weather was really bad and they had to cancel the flight. And so they sat there in the oxygenated container for an extra 24 hours, which is what caused that. But there was nothing I could do about it. So, so be it.
So how does this system
And then on this side, actually, there are 70 goldfish. Those I started out that small too. They're about big, about 2.5 pounds. They're hiding at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't see them.
But you sell them differently, like as pets?
Yeah, the goldfish, they were the only fish I could get initially. Because the tilapia, I had to have a permit for to actually culture these.
Okay.
All right. Even though other people are culturing tilapia, as far as I know, I'm the only one with a permit.
Yeah.
According to the director of fisheries.
Right.
So, but basically how this works is these two tanks are an approximate 1,000 gallons each. Okay. It's a 4x4x8. It's a simple construction. It's just panels, bolted together, plastic lining it. I just cleared the ground on the base, get rid of all the obstructions, and filled it with water.
Right. What type of water? Just normal pipe water? Tap water?
We don't have tap water out here. This is well water.
Well water. Yeah, fresh water.
Yeah, so it's actually, and the water lens is actually very close where I am here. It's only 3 feet below the surface, so it's very close. But basically what happens is that the water out of this flows in this direction, and from there it drains through this pipe by gravity, which runs all the way back to that fault there. And because of the slope of the ground, it actually drains by gravity back this way. And in here, this point, is where the pump is. This is a 35-watt pump, pumps 350 gallons an hour, and pumps it back up here, and then the process starts again. And then the air pump, which is here, again, approximate 35 watts. And the air filters, obviously you see air here, and then each of the troughs, there are air lines, which actually provide oxygen in the water. It's designed to be very efficient, so that the small pump, small air pump and small water pump running continuously really only draws 100 watts in round numbers, and that provides sufficient water flow and oxygenation to keep it all going. This is a low density method I'm using, because most people that culture fish use a high density method and stack them in really tightly.
Right.
So for a system this size, I need an approximate 200 pounds of fish. I need 1/3 of a pound of fish for every square foot of grow space. This is 1,000 square feet.
Wow. 1,000 square.
And then up here is the seedling table, and the seedling table holds 3,400 pots, which is enough to fill in one of these troughs. Now, I got 2 empty spots now because I just harvested. It's all gone now.
Yeah.
So, but then this, I got 60 strawberry plants in. I would say that sometime in September I got them, and I've managed to propagate almost 200 plus. And it's still propagating more, and I'm going to propagate them until they die.
Okay.
And as I was saying, the strawberries are actually blossoming. I have blossom there. Here's a blossom right here. So, from the time they blossom till the fruit is ready, is typically 30 days.
Okay. Hello.
Go lay down. Go. Go lay down. We'll call you when we're ready. So usually the seedlings, well, the donor actually showed up on the farm. I came in one day and met the old here. It was about 8 big.
Okay.
Yeah, it said up home, and that was that. The seedlings normally stay on the table. It takes about 3 days to germinate.
Okay.
So they're normally on the table 5 to 7 days. Weather obviously has something to do with it. I have a gap over there because about a week, 2 weeks ago, we had a really cold snap. Of course, I only had a 50% germination, so it's what it is. And as you can see, I have all kinds of things growing in here. I have that's a mango right there. I just popped the seed in there and left her alone. These are almond trees. Some curly vines. Wow, spinach.
Oh.
That's 3 sad plants there are actually nasturtiums, which are edible flowers. And I haven't, they grew so well before, and I think it's just the temperature right now. It's just and these are my escapee goldfish. They escaped. Don't ask me how they got in there, but they're in there. Now this tank actually also has green tetras in it.
Has green.
Tetras,
Okay.
which is an aquarium fish. But
Okay.
I figured let's try them. I don't know if you can see them, because only about 2 dozen in
I see
there.
fish in there.
Well, what you see is actually the goldfish here.
Yeah.
The tetra
Not the
actually,
red one. I see a black one.
that might be the tetra.
Okay. I see a black
Yeah.
one. It's right over there.
So you had to import all of these materials.
Pretty much. The boards they use in construction, this is a cow board. It's an extruded polystyrene, but it's a virgin. There's no additives in this one. And it's a 2-inch thickness because at the end of the day, because of the high density method, I need it a bit more sturdy because you see all the holes in it.
Yeah.
That board there has 105 holes in it. And then I have some that actually have 127 right behind us here. These have 127 holes in it.
And you had to bore the holes and stuff.
Yeah, with the
Yourself?
drill, and I had blue holes everywhere and blue dust everywhere.
Wow.
But growing the leafy greens in this configuration produces an approximate 1.5 pounds. And this configuration is about a 1.25 pounds. And it varies, you know, because weather has a huge determination. And then I have some guava and sea grape, and I just found them on the side of the road, cut them out, and shoved them in there, and see if they make happy. And they usually make happy, so it takes a while, but like out of those, I think 1 or 2 may survive, but still, it's more than what I had.
And
Yeah.
where did you learn the technique?
Well, this particular method I use is actually it's a low density method developed by Friendly Aquaponics. That's the people out of Hawaii. Friendly Aquaponics.
Friendly aquaponics. Okay.
And they initially took the training from the University of Virgin Islands in St. Croix, and that was Dr. Koshi, who was actually overseeing that project at the time. So, but they were doing high density. So the fish were really dense, and it required filtration and sediment filters and all kinds of stuff. I have none of that. Keep it simple.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, it's about developing a method that as a small farmer can actually grow with.
Yeah.
So that, you know, once we get this going and we start to expand and grow, then the best way for someone to try is from someone who's successful.
Yeah.
So obviously once we get to the point where we can be quantified as successful, then people will be like, oh, I can try that.
Yeah.
This construction you see here in local dollars was about $10 a square foot.
Okay.
So 1,000 square feet, you're looking at $10,000, and that's just materials, not labor. And then the other thing that, like the pots here, this is just coconut coir in there, and we recycle all of that. So,
What that is? What you call that?
coconut coir. It's
Oh,
coconut bark.
It ain't no good. Oh, coconut bark.
Yeah, it's just coconut bark. No, it's good. We do recycling it and use it again.
Oh, I thought you take the plant. What would you do the plant?
Well, we actually throw this in the compost pile. Our
Oh.
pile at the moment is right there. But
Okay.
it's just really easy to do, I mean, because they wash out the
Oh, because it ain't. Once you reach under this, it's
Oh.
more good.
Wow, that's just
What's about the top part? This guy ain't?
what I can do, but we already cut the.
I wish you could have washed it off. I could eat this, man.
Yeah, they're good.
You got water I could wash it?
Well,
You
they
wash
could-
some, man.
You can wash it right in the tank there,
Wash
man.
it right in the tank.
So where the tank is? I
Right
see
there.
these things for my
You
bill.
could.
Yeah.
You don't believe me? Let me show you.
I get mine.
No, most people won't believe this because unless they see that themselves, they're like, "Well, you gonna drink this? You want this shit?"
All these grains you taking out like that? I did that a couple of days, man. I can eat this now. This is my lunch.
Basically all it is.
So it's a fully integrated system.
Interesting.
Well, this is just a Yeah, it's just a mini ecosystem. It's all this is.
So you shake it out, right?
Yeah, just swish it in the water and that's that. So, I mean, it's very simple. And like the plastic liner, you got at the hardware store. It's a low density polyethylene, which is a food grade plastic. This is only this is a 6 mil plastic. Ideally, you see the white one rolled up there. That's actually a 20 mil plastic, which would be a better choice, but that's not available locally. I had to import that. But it runs very simply. I mean, the basic principle is that you feed the fish defecates, it converts the natural bacteria in the water, converts the ammonia from the fish into nitrates and nitrose, which the plants draw out, clean the water goes back to the fish, clean water, starts again. The process is quite simple. And the only thing that we really need to add is, because we have no trace minerals in our water, we would have to add like iron and...
But some people would just pump the nutrients in the water directly.
Yeah, and then they're having to buy chemicals to do that. And the only thing we ever add is the fish food, and then because we don't have no iron in our water, we actually add chelated iron, which is the same iron that we take as people.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when we're doing fruiting plants like the tomatoes or strawberries, things like that, then you need to add the minerals that they require.
Yeah.
Potash and boron and things like that. But there's a liquid fertilizer that I use that is actually a vitamin derivative and it doesn't create any issues.
Okay.
And then as you can see, I have, well, we got sweet potato growing in there, my pineapple.
Sweet potatoes and pineapple.
Well, that's sweet potato there.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's, well, I acquired the vines. Somebody gave us them, and we weren't ready quite to put them in the ground, so we just shoved them in there. And that's what happens.
I ain't even looked at them in a week.
So, yeah, I mean, they love it. And when we finally figure out where we want to put them, we'll put them in the ground. But you see, like the pineapple here, this pineapple was eaten about 6 weeks ago. And so the top on that was half that size. It's double in size since being there.
Oh.
Well, I got some pineapple on now. I had them so long, I was in kill them.
This one is actually an Eleuthera pineapple. It was actually that size until the dog got it one day.
Oh, there.
And I thought it was going to die, but actually it has 2 suckers on them, yes. And then, so I'm thinking it may still work. It's still growing, so let's not kill it. And then everything that we have out here, we're trying to be as sustainable as we can. We recycle pallets, because they only throw them at the dump. Or
Recycled pellets.
well, the pallets, you know, freight comes on pallets. And throughout the Caribbean, it's the same. And where do they put them? To the dump, right? So we just took the pallet, like that entire building over there is made of the walls, the floor. It's all made with pallets. So, and of course, you know, we have frogs too, so there's tadpoles inside the water which add to the biological collective, and frogs jumping all over the place, which eat little bugs. It's a good thing. We have onions, leeks, garlic.
It smells good too. Oh.
That's the basil,
Yeah. Just, yeah.
And my one tomato tree, this is a cherry tomato, but again, this is only 8 weeks old.
Okay.
And you see the size.
They can give you some.
Yeah.
This one tree will take over this whole section here. We'll just put it on a trellis here at a time. But I have him in the corner that way so I can get him to go up
Yeah.
the pole. And then we have wind and solar, which is where we get our energy from.
Wind and solar energy.
Yeah. There's the wind turbine up there and solar panels. My brother is good at these things, so he's constructing solar panels.
Okay.
He got the photovoltaic cells off eBay for pennies to the dollar, and he's gonna make it work. And then of course we have our swimming pool because it gets quite hot. / water reserve / emergency fish tank. multi-purpose tool is how that one is.
Right.
And then you see our water tower, we built that out of, it's held out with local pine.
Okay, brother.
This is
Hold on.
awesome.
At what size do you separate the tilapias?
The tilapia are almost ready to actually start to separate. I have to separate the males and females. And what I'll do is I'll put all the females in a breeding tank, which will be about half that size. And throw a male in there and say, make happy.
Yeah.
Until he craps out and we'll get another one. He's going to be happy now when he dies, you know. So, but typically speaking, for every clutch of eggs that tilapia has, they're usually somewhere between 3,000 and 6,000.
Wow.
So, I'm thinking if I can get half of them are females, that should produce, in round numbers, about 1,500 fry a week. The breeding cycle is usually 6 weeks.
So like once you have this set, you don't need to, you just, one set you buy, you don't need to buy any.
I don't need to buy
Yeah.
anymore. It's self-sustaining. Once we put the hatchery in and we get the breeding program going, then, because the goal is actually to raise 30,000 pounds of fish a month. Typically when you fillet a fish, you lose 2/3 in the process.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to get an approximate 8-ounce fillet, I need a 3-pound fish. And then over on this section over here, which is slightly higher, we'll actually put in the earthen ponds for the grow out for the tilapia. Because 30,000 pounds of fish is a lot.
Yeah.
And that's monthly. But that's what Albacore consumes. I mean, based on the research, what I could find from all the suppliers, Albacore buys about 10,000 pounds of fillet, tilapia fillet, which we import now like everybody else from God knows where, Thailand, Honduras.
I don't know why they cold them fish. I don't like them.
They taste less.
Tasteless as well. That's the word for it.
However, I do know a way to finish the fish off, to give them that and as a Caribbean man, we understand that, a saltwater fish has better texture.
Yes.
So I do know a way actually to give that the texture it needs to have, which would actually be more appealing to most people.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
it actually tastes like a saltwater fish.
Yes.
But tilapia are the scum of the sea, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
They will live in sewer waste. So
Yeah.
now I got the red variant because, and that's actually a Jamaican red variant is what that one is.
Yeah, yeah.
But because it's more appealing. Don't forget, people shop with their eyes.
Yeah.
And snapper in the Caribbean in particular is in high demand.
So will you market it yourself? Will you, or?
We'll market it. We have a fish processing facility here, fully licensed and inspected, and whatever other certificates they may need. So I've already spoken with them. Once we get to that stage, they will actually process it for us. And the goal would be to actually collect the waste back and convert the waste into fertilizer. I'm just not sure how to do that yet, but I'll figure that one out too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because, at the end of the day, the fish emulsion will make an excellent fertilizer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we can actually take that same waste and convert it into a fertilizer, then that's actually something that's natural and organic that the farmers can use without destroying our water table.
Yeah.
Because without the water, we can't do anything.
Yeah.
And like here, we don't use any chemicals or anything like that, no pesticides. Because I want to eat that too, and I want to know what I'm eating.
I just eat it too.
Yeah.
That less head up.
Yeah.
I can't drop these guys off and go back to work.
So,
We can. Well, I'll have more questions for you, I'm sure.
I'm sure. After you sit and contemplate it. But it's actually rather fascinating.
It is.
Because ultimately
I
what I
wish you
would...
could have done a small presentation. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
Well, ultimately, I would like to be able to develop a method that we would be able to share for
So
those that are interested.
Yeah.
Well, what we could do at the beginning, if we have time, is to show this short video clip
Yes.
to
You
the
actually
group.
took a video, eh?
Yeah. So we could
Wow.
show it to the group.
I don't know how good the quality is, but I'll find out.
Yeah, and just to show them who have never seen your farm and who doesn't know what you're doing, just to share that knowledge with
Yeah,
them.
you can share my imaginary farm.
Yes. All right.
But
Thank
yeah, ultimately the goal would be to develop a method that any small farmer can, just the basics, and use that to expand and grow with. Because at the end of the day, yes, we're growing food, but we also want to be successful.
Exactly, and the soil itself isn't all that great. I'm
No.
looking at this now, So hydroponics is really,
Yeah, exactly, and of
If
course,
you're educated to know,
Yeah.
and it's not much expensive, you know, because when you look at the things that he used,
I
Yeah.
use
some
the
of these
natural
materials that people say they
resources
throw away.
that
You
that
see?
I could find. Yeah.
And if you're educated, it's in, that's where it comes in.
You know, I mean, so like, I mean, there are a couple of there are a couple of aquaponics in Jamaica. I know one or two. There is Barbados.
Yeah, there's a guy in Barbados
What's the
doing
name
it.
of that one?
I can't remember, but that was actually an SGP project.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember the name.
Something Hill. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then there's one in Antigua. There's another one in Trinidad. But the thing is that, you know, to be able to feed our nations, obviously we need to cut down the food miles. And if we can grow it locally and produce what we need to sustain us, because it'll grow a huge variety of stuff. It'll grow bananas and that. Actually, you have to spray them up, but it'll grow them.
Yeah.
You know, so if we can develop a method that is sustainable and successful.
Before we go, you see this? See how he strapped his shoes to hold it?
I kicked the sole off just
see
now. I was
that?
like, gee, I need to go find some Gorilla Glue.
He's such a thinker, man.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I,
Like it.
you know, these are
Okay.
$170 pair of shoes. I can't afford to
But
buy
I'm looking
them.
at the support. Look how he supported and feel it. It's tight.
It's very tight, man. Don't hurt my foot.
Yeah.
But I had to put glue back on it to
Yeah, and then hold it together.
hold it together. And I needed to wear this shoe this morning, so I was like, all right, gentlemen, I'll see you all later.
All right,
All right. Thank you very
All right.
much.